Meantime, it's not like Republicans, the other side of the aisle, don't have issues of their own, by the way. Right now, north of a dozen House Republicans are holding up a deal to avoid a government shutdown. That was created by members of their own party, that deal was. Now, the legislation calls for spending cuts and for additional support for the southern border. Now, just to show you right now how scrambled things are, here's Congressman Chip Roy. Now, for a bit of history here, he opposed the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's deal to lift the debt ceiling earlier this summer. But now he is squarely on Team McCarthy when it comes to avoiding a government shutdown. Here was the congressman hours ago.
Go explain that you're voting against a 30-day 8% cut to the federal bureaucracy while having a piece of legislation attached to it that is the strongest border legislation ever passed, and it was passed out of this House Republican conference. Again, to my so-called conservative colleagues, go explain that.
Charlie?
This is just posturing of the worst type.
Okay, how?
This proposal that he just referred to is going nowhere. They don't have votes to pass it out of the House. And even if it did pass the House, it will go to the Senate. It will be completely stripped and gutted, and they will send back a bill with over 70 votes that will fund the government, provide for disaster relief, and Ukraine funding. And then the House is going to have to eat it. The question is, will they eat it before September 30th or after the government has shut down? I'm predicting it'll happen after it shuts down.
Really?
But that's what's going to happen. But this is posturing. This is it's almost laughable. They know this is going nowhere. And that bill that he just referred to, Chip Roy, they introduced it and it crashed. It burned. It blew up at the launching pad. So it's not going anywhere.
So is this, the will of the minority being imposed on the will of the majority within the majority conference?
Well, of course, there's a group of hardliners out there who don't know what they want. McCarthy provided, he announced the impeachment inquiry ostensibly to pick up a few funding votes. Well, that didn't work. Those guys said, hey, we'll pocket the inquiry, and we want 5 more things. But I'm not sure exactly what they want. It's not clear. And so bottom line is, I see that this is, I don't know that they have the votes to pass anything. Just an hour or so ago, the defense appropriations bill, they couldn't bring up the bill. They couldn't pass it.
Are you talking to Republicans on this, your former colleagues?
I've talked to many of them. Yeah, I've talked to several of them.
And your sense of a shutdown comes from them?
It comes from everybody who's paying attention right now. I mean, look, they don't have to shut the government down. It's really easy not to.
Right.
McCarthy, all he has to do is go talk to Hakeem Jeffries and say, I need votes to pass the rule, and then to pass the bill, and then problem solved. But if Kevin does that, then he's going to have this rearguard action. These guys are going to move to throw him out, to vacate the chair.
Yeah, there'll be an outright revolt. I mean, it reminds me so much of, I was in Congress, working in Congress back when the Tea Party stuff started. And it's funny how so much of their tactics, it hasn't changed from where we are right now with the extreme flank of the caucus, in that you don't really know what they're for, what they really want. They don't really define that. They just want
They don't even know what they want.
They just want it to shut down.
Right.
I mean, the reason why there's going to be a shutdown is because that's what they actually want. They want that chaos. They want things to go south, just like the Tea Party did back in the day. They don't actually have a list of demands really that you can meet. That's what makes it so difficult for McCarthy. It's hard to negotiate with people who don't really tell you what they want.
I'll tell you.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.